Hello dear students, welcome to 7th class. You are already familiar to me. I am your class teacher Ritu Arora. Today I will teach you your first chapter of history, the medieval years and its sources. Understand? First of all, you will read the chapter and then you will listen my video. Without reading you cannot understand. Okay. The name of the lesson is the medieval years and its sources. Medieval year means Madhyakal, or we can say middle age. It is divided into two parts. You can see in the timeline. It is given in your book. Early medieval period and the late medieval period. The time period of early medieval period was 800 to 1200 CE, and the time period of late medieval period was 1300 to 1800 CE. The early medieval history witnessed the rise of new dynasties Hello dear students, I am Ritu Arora, your SST class teacher. I hope you are already familiar to me. In 6th class also I was teaching you SST. First of all, you will read the chapter and then you will listen my video. Today I will teach you your first chapter of history, the medieval years and its sources. First of all, I will tell you the meaning of medieval. Medieval means Madhyakal, or we can say middle age. It is divided into two parts, early medieval period and late medieval period. The time period of early medieval period was 800 to 1200 CE, and the time period of late medieval period was 1300 to 1800 CE. The early medieval history witnessed the rise of new dynasties like the Palas, the Rashtrakutas and the Pratiharas, etc., which ruled over different parts of India. And the late medieval periods saw the emergence of foreign invasions from Central Asia and establishment of sultanates in India. The Turkish, Afghan and Mughal invasions on India brought with them the new culture and the new religion of Islam. Now the next point is different names for India. India has undergone various names before the name India was accepted as a final one. The most famous among these names are Jambudvipa, Bharatvarsha, Aryavart means the land of Aryans, and the Tenshu and Yintu. This term was used by the Chinese for India, Hindustan, Hind, and in the last India was accepted. India, this name was given by British. And now I will tell you the features of the medieval period in India. The medieval period in India was quite eventful. several changes took place in socio-cultural and political life. Let us take a brief look at the broad trends in this period. These changes were not restricted on political matters but also spread to social, economic, cultural, and religious matters. Now I will tell you in detail. Number 1 was political. Struggle for power between the Palas, Pratiharas, and Rashtrakutas. And emergence of several Rajput kingdoms in northern and western India. And after the Gupta Empire, the Mughals of the later medieval period established political stability in India. They formed a vast empire by integrating the smaller kingdom within it and unifying India against further foreign invasions. Akbar was the important Mughal ruler who is known for his leadership skills. The next one is social. On the social front, in the Mughal period, new groups emerged and there were changes in the caste system. And the third one is economic. Agriculture was the largest source of income and trade relations were carried with Central Asian regions and other parts of the world. And next is cultural. During this period, there was cultural intermixing, means exchanging, and the new Indo-Persian culture emerged. Muslim culture got mixed with Hindu culture. The food, clothes, architecture, and the lifestyle of Mughals matched with that of Central Asians. And the last one is religious. Islam was widespread and gained foothold in the North India during the rule of the Mughals. Bhakti and Sufi movements as well as Sikhism as a religion arose. And the other features are rise of the Marathas and Sikhs, increase in trade and economic prosperity of India, arrival of European companies, emergence of new cities, evolution of a composite Indian culture. Now, sources of history means from where historians take their sources to write history. History cannot be written on the basis of information in people's memory alone. They need proof and accurate proof. And accurate historical accounts relies upon several sources. Literary and archaeological sources are used to reconstruct events on the medieval period. There are two types of main sources: literary and archaeological sources. Literary sources consist all accounts written during the period under study. These cover various subjects like religion, science, astronomy, and medicine. And in detail I will tell you. These are chronicles. What are chronicles? Muslim rulers patronized the writers who produced well documented court chronicles have been produced. These chronicles give the historical record of the reign of the king of that period. For example, Tarikh-e Firoz Shahi by Ziauddin Barani Tughlaqnama by Amir Khusro. And the next is memoirs, biographies and autobiographies. During the Tughlaq rule, Firoz Shah Tughlaq wrote his autobiography, Futuhat-e-Firoz Shahi, and Babar's memoir, Babarnama, Akbar's biography, Akbarnama, and Jahangir's autobiography, Jahangirnama, tell us about these rulers of the Mughal dynasty. And Humayunama, who wrote Humayunama? Gulbadan Begum. Abul Fazl's Aine Akbari and Akbarnama. है ना, this already I told you. Now travelogues. Travelogues means during the medieval period many foreign travelers visited Indian subcontinent and wrote about the extensive empires spread throughout India. And their work was work by Ibn Battuta, Abdul Razzaq, Thomas Rowe, Bernier and Marco Polo. And farmans. What are farmans? Royal orders issued by different rulers. And folklores, dramas and stories. What are these? Som Devas, Katha, Sarit, Sagar. And the next is Brihat Katha Kosh. Now, archaeological sources. I will tell you about archaeological sources. Archaeology can be defined as the study of the past in the light of the material remains left behind by our ancestors. When the time is over, their remains are left, and they can be in the layers of the earth. These are excavated by the archaeologists. Sources of archaeology include remains of buildings, pottery, weapons, ornaments, sculptures, inscriptions. What are inscriptions? Writing on stone surface or slabs, paintings and coins. Experts who study these remains are called archaeologists. Major archaeological remains that highlight various aspects of life during the medieval period and briefly described below. In your book, these are given in short, in brief. I am telling you in detail. Number 1 is monuments. Most of the monuments built by the Turks and Mughals are still into existence. Forts, mosques, palaces, tombs, etc. give an enormous amount of information about the social life of that period. And the next is inscriptions and edicts. The monuments of that period have inscriptions, means writings on walls and entrances, which reveal information about the kings and dynasties. What are edicts? Edicts on the copper plates and temples of medieval time are found in South India. Now, the next one is coins. Coins of the medieval period tell us about the economic condition, means what type of economic condition they had of that time. How prosperous those kingdoms were. Tanka and Jitals were used as coins by the Khilji dynasty, while Tughlaqs used brass and copper in coins. Down south, the Vijayanagar Empire used coins made of silver and gold. And the last one is sculptures and paintings. Miniature paintings of the medieval period tell us about the customs, clothes, food and other cultural habits of the people. During this period, Persian art influenced Indian art. Persian styles were introduced in terracotta sculpting and painting. Indian craftsmen were trained in Persian art, by which they could intermix both and create an amalgamated style of art. Okay, now this lesson is